Question is, people, are you ready for this evening? HMO, house of multiple occupancy. So like this is licensing and regulations. How important it is to get this right, or you will end up in jail. If you are serious about investing in property, then I suggest you pay attention to this. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over the licensing and regulations from experience, but also we're going to give you the tools. So you make sure you've got a pen and paper ready. We're going to give you the tools of what you need to actually go and get the HMO regulation or licensing piece of information, isn't it? Is it? Would you say it's just like a piece of information? You know, like when something new comes up, or you need to abide by something, or there's like flood report that starts coming up. Would you say that these are all part of the license and regulations? Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely. So just factor it in, because if you're going to have 5 or more occupants, you need a license for the property, unless otherwise stated for your particular council, unless some council specifically says for any HMO, you must have a license. Now, in my opinion, all of ours, even if it's less than 5 persons, we have all the fire regulations, etc., as if it was a licensable building anyway, because it's just a way of future-proofing as well. We want to make sure that the property is safe for us and our tenants, because remember, if you're not adequate in regards to the safety features in your property, because this is your responsibility, you're the owner of this property, so anybody that lives in it, you're responsible to make sure that you've done everything as a preventative to any damage to the person living in the property. So as long as you've done, the adequate fire alarm system. So in HMOs, you need to make sure you've got mains wired fire alarm systems. Why? Because obviously if a problem goes off and they've not changed batteries, then there's going to be an issue in regards to alerting people if there is a fire or if there is a hazard. So you need mains wired smoke alarms across the building. And then if you've got multiple floors, you can have emergency lighting is required depending on the size of the property as well. The main thing above all is so simple, is do not be afraid of your HMO officers in your council. They are such good friends of ours now. And when we were at the beginning, we just called them up and said, so we're looking at HMOs in this area. I want to know exactly that I'm doing the right thing. And a lot of them, if they have the time, they'll come out to the property at the beginning with you when you're planning your renovation stage. So if, for example, it needs a license and it needs this and this kind of alarm system, etc., they'll help you and guide you from the very beginning, so you can factor that in. Also, if you're new to HMO, get a builder that is HMO compliant, because I would want to know that the team I'm spending all of this money with knows what they're doing and has experience there. Go and have a look at other jobs that they've completed.
So can you come back to that? Because before these questions get lost, I want to answer these questions. Okay. So I got a question. Do all rooms need escape windows, even if the escape route is fire related? Huh?
No, I know what you mean. So you must have at least one route of escape for every bedroom. So you obviously need to give adequate ventilation in the room as it is. But a window being an escape window, so the adequate sort of space between the floor to where the window height is. So there's certain rules around that, and just making sure that somebody is able to get out of the window. Now, on here, for example, we have rooms off kitchens. So people thought that potentially that wasn't allowed, but it absolutely is, because the main thing is, and the reason I say that is because the kitchen is generally the root of the fire, if there ever was one. So a lot of people thought absolutely not, you're not allowed a bedroom off a kitchen. As long as you've got a route of escape that does not go through the area that could potentially cause the problem in the first place, then you can have a bedroom there. It's no problem. So we have like windows, and then sometimes in some cases we have another door, so the back door, but it becomes their studio, if you like, because they've got their own entrance and exit through that bedroom.
Awesome. So next question is, do you need a fire alarm system in all HMOs or only over a certain amount of rooms?
So listen,
doesn't the rooms not just count for a fire alarm, but it actually accounts for what type of fire alarm?
Yeah, so there's different rooms and different floor levels will count for different systems. But in regards to does it need a fire alarm system? Absolutely, absolutely, because you need to be able to alert your tenants at the earliest opportunity of any cause of fire. So if you've got a 3-story property, even if it's only 3-4 bedrooms, they need to be able to be alerted very quickly so that they can get all the way downstairs and out of the property if that's their only route of escape. Or obviously if they're window high, etc., they need to be able to get out. They will then have fire doors. So fire doors are essential to properties. And again, working with your HMO officer to understand, do I need a 60-minute protection or do I need 30 minutes fire protection? They just need to have an adequate length of protection to be able to get an emergency services to the building. So if they are trapped and they're unable to leave their bedroom and obviously go through the corridor out, so that's one route of escape, they need to then be able to get out the window either by themselves or by use of emergency services help. So that's why obviously you need your fire door for access out and a clear way. So again, bedrooms can't be the route through the fire hazard in the first place, which is generally a kitchen. So it has to be a clear route of escape. So what does it say? What if you're in the attic? Does it need a metal fire escape? That will just depend on the size of the building. So we've got many loft rooms and they've got your, either a dormer or they've got normal skylights in there that again, they open in a certain way so that they can get out and have a route of escape out there with emergency services help.
What we're talking about, the metal fire escape or the steps?
She means like the stairs fitted to the actual dwelling itself so you can climb out and go downstairs. So in those cases, it will depend on the building and the size and the amount of rooms that you have in there as to whether that kind of route of escape is necessary. So you always check with your planning officers, because if a route of escape like that is more for flats, things like that, because it will be multiple rooms over certain size of dwelling. So that's always worth checking. But like I say, we've got 2 route of escape. So they've got their main way sort of down the stairs, through the hallway, down the stairs again, and then out. Or they can just come out of the window with the assistance of emergency services.
So what are the things that normally people might forget or overlook when it comes to licensing that these guys can look out for?
I think like people think that they're out to get you. Like HMO officers want to provide safe and secure housing. That's it. That sums it up. Because I was talking to our officer today who I wanted to get on here, but like, for example, he said, definitely want to be on there, really interested, but unfortunately, we're actually in the middle of enforcing on something because there's like a massive property that hasn't got licensing and there's like human trafficking and whatnot and multiple people in rooms. So he's going through a massive thing. Now, you know, I'm like, that is really terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that, but also can I buy the property? You know, think about the things outside the box. But honestly, the thing you overlook is don't be afraid of it. They want to help you. They want people to provide safe, secure housing. So they're there for your assistance. Anything you're unsure of, just ask for help. You know, if you don't ask and then you get something wrong, what's that worth? Like, rather than just picking up the phone and saying, hey, I've got this HMO, this is the plans with the builder, these are fire escapes, blah, 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 because it'll all be named detailed on your plan. If you have something to do that, then you can show it to the HMO officer and they can say that anything that might need to be added. But if you don't have detailed plans, they'll just pop round to the property or they'll help and just explain it to you. So say, ensure you've got this, ensure you've got this, ensure you've got this, types of windows. On the fire doors, closers, thumb turn locks so that they're able to get outside even if they've lost their keys.
This information is coming thick and fast. Can you even keep up? I want you to comment below wherever it is you're watching this and just say like, wow, is this fast? Is this too much? Or is this useful? Please do comment. And also, you guys are doing awesome. Sam, keep tagging people, other people. Go and share it on your timeline and tag other people. Give them the opportunity to come and see what it's all about in terms of getting licensing and regulation sorted for HMOs. Because what happens if you don't abide by this?
you could get into some serious stuff.
What's serious stuff? What's that?
So seriously, there is up to a £30,000 fine and custodial sentence.
I thought it was 20. Is it not?
It's 30 up to £30,000 fine and custodial sentence. Custodial sentence.
What's that? Is that a type of croissant?
This is, you can go to jail, right? You can go to jail if you get this wrong. Because listen,
is that the same as like a Monopoly?
Yeah, you don't pass go, you don't get £200. This is serious. Like you are playing with people's lives. So that's why, if in doubt, just make sure that you account for the obvious when it comes to tenant safety and things like that. Like I say, even in ours, where they don't require a license, if ever that got changed, we future-proof them anyway. So then they will need, if they need a license, they could just easily get one because it's already been done. It's like, years ago, they had like the fire doors. So fire doors can be like, some people worry about them being these horrible, big, heavy, brown, disgusting doors, which is what I was worried about when I first started. I was like, oh, I don't like those.
Well, and like in a community centre or something.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So when you're in like community centres and other public sort of displays, notice the signage above the door saying emergency exit, lights, and like fire routes and things like that. So signs like that, just alerting people to the route of escapes and things. That's the kind of thing that you need to be thinking about. They need to, certain fire alarm systems for your HMOs will have things called sounders. And for example, we have, you have to have them checked regularly for maintenance because you need to make sure that they're working. So we've got cleaners that go into our properties every 2 weeks. So they check the emergency lighting for us, that it's working, and this fire alarm system, and make sure that there's no faults or anything like that, so that we know that we're running okay. And equally, if there's an issue, it will tell you on your certain fire systems which zone the problem is in. So it could be, for example, we found out at one point when a tenant has like put a sock over a smoke alarm in their room or something because they were trying to smoke in there. So it will tell you that it's not got proper sensory going on and there's like a fault. So then you go and inspect that room and say, hey, okay, so in zone 1 or in room 1, there is an issue, right? But what I was saying about the big horrible doors is like, people think about these horrible things like I did, but now we've got some gorgeous things. So I have some beautiful, pretty doors. You don't have to have the horrible furry stuff in between your frames.
Okay, good. So look, check this question out. Are you ready for this? I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done this before. So, hey!
Oh, wow.
Check that question out. So can you break them down individually, all these different things, or is it just a one thing? So, yeah, really. No,
oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to apply for a HMO license, and the council wants us to attach these documents: gas safety certificate, electrical installation certificate. So a gas safety certificate, you will obviously have a new appliance if that's what you're doing. If you're doing a new central heating system, you'll have a new gas certificate. And electrical installation condition, so an EIC. Again, if you're doing a rewire, generally on HMOs, we like to make sure that everything's been done and tested and brand new for us. So you'll have a new EIC report, the fire risk assessment. So where necessary. So certain size properties will need a fire risk assessment doing. And again,
where is she getting them all from?
So your gas safety certificate is your plumber. The electrical installation condition report is your electrician. The fire risk assessment.
It's a fire risk assessment guy. See,
check,
I got that.
Check within your power team, because our electrician is also trained in fire risk assessment. So he does that at the same time for us. Your portable appliance test. So this is PAT testing. So when everything is brand new, you don't need to give this at the beginning. If you're using electrical equipment, etc., that's older, then you will need to get a PAT test report.
So like if you've bought new stuff, but then you end up putting that in your house, and then your old stuff you put in the HMO, then you're going to need it. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God, yeah.
What?
I mean, if it's new, you're good for a while, and if not, then yeah, you need a PAT test. Just search Google in your local area, or ask your JV partners that are looking after that to find somebody to do the PAT testing. But yeah, any brand new stuff you're fine. Smoke alarm certification, again, this should be provided by the electrical installers that do the smoke alarm system for you, so you should have that. Emergency lighting certification, again, the people that install it, you should get that certificate as well. Let me just see, is there anything else?
EPC.
EPC, so again, it's where required. So you can get these done, obviously, once you've refurbished the property and it's now of a better insulation, etc. It should have a better EPC anyway, but it's just where, if this was required, we've never had to supply an EPC for a HMO license application. But again, just follow the rules in your council. Everyone likes to do things very differently. Some councils have certain ways of doing things. Some have lots of forms to fill in. But remember, your license is only every 5 years. So just take your time, get your application filled in. Again, if it's like gibberish and you're like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? Ring them and ask them for help in filling out the form. They want to help you. They want to support good landlords in their areas.
So do you have any kind of quick steps on how easy it is to find the whole applying for a HMO license? Any tips?
Yeah, so get yourself over to the YouTube channel, because I've done a short video on HMO licensing, so definitely you can use that outside of here, but also
just on that point, look,
group.
if there's an area of information that you want us to go either deeper into or something that we haven't mentioned yet, write that I want a video on whatever it is, and then tag my name. Tag my name. So put I want a video on whatever it is, and then tag my name. So you do that.
Yeah, but most importantly, whatever the area is that you plan to invest in, ring the council, say, can I speak to the HMO department or the environmental health department, and then find out who your local officers are or officer that is likely to be looking after your properties, and have a conversation. Introduce yourself. Say, I'm looking to invest in the area. I've found some properties that I'm looking to turn into a HMO. I just want to understand exactly what it is that I need to do it properly from the start, because I want to create luxury, secure accommodation that is safe and is good for me and my tenant, and a safe investment as well. So are you able to provide me with any information? Now, most of them have got like a pack that they can send you either in the post or via email, which literally is like an encyclopedia of knowledge on their particular. And the reason I say this is because every area, like I say, is different. You know, different areas have slightly different rules and regulations. However, something is global. Okay, so you've got certain areas that will have minimum room size requirements, such as 8 square meters, 10 square meters. Like, this is different per area. Now, this is when they say minimum room size requirement, this is excluding en suites. So the room has to be like 8 square meters, excluding the ensuite in there. But then they'll also have to have, depending on the number of occupants, a certain level of amenity for communal space, like kitchen, diners, lounge kind of areas. Now, with this, the the national size, room size requirement has now gone down from, I think it was 8 something to 6.52 square meters. So what that means is that when they basically brought in 5 occupants or more licensing, so it didn't then matter that it was 2 or more stories, it used to be only 3 stories, but now that it is 5 or more occupants, you must have a license.
Are you still on the steps to applying for a license?
Yeah, but I'm just giving them a quick,
but years in the whole program for that. We've got other questions to answer.
Okay. Then.
So how would you finish it off? Okay, that's good. Okay. So, no, how would you finish it off?
But basically what I mean by that is if, for example, you've got a couple of anomaly rooms, because there's always a question mark room in the property, this is why the national room size requirement has changed to 6.52 square meters, because there's always going to be the odd question mark room. For me personally, don't make any rooms that are smaller than 7.5 if you possibly can, because they're just cupboards otherwise. They're really, really tiny, but they do rent well because they're cheap.
But also when it comes to square meterage, that's one thing, because there's a license requirement, all the rest of it. But also when you're designing your rooms, you got to design it in a way where it's going to be comfortable for someone to be able to move around, because I've seen rooms where they can get the floor coverage, but it's not really ideal to fit furniture on a bed, and it's a weird shape and all of that stuff. So do bear that in mind. Don't purely just go off like someone said earlier, just delivering on the bare minimum. You know, like let's make it nice for someone. So what else we got?
Again, you know, HMO departments love, and again, just want to work with landlords that have, because it's not just about creating a great product, it's about how to maintain it as well. So when they see how ours are maintained and the fact that we've got someone constantly going in there every 2 weeks, alerting us of issues, alerting us of, you know, door handles coming off or any problems with the property, and checking that the systems are working effectively, that to them is a green light as well. And it makes us licensable as a landlord and a fit and proper landlord, because we have such a strong service that we provide after we've done the renovation to the product, because that's important also, because you could create an amazing asset and in 1 6-month tenancy it gets destroyed and you don't do anything about it. That, you know, that doesn't happen if you create a business and a service that continues that amazing quality from the start. So you're doing Baby Shark.
So it all comes back to, you know, doing the right thing for the right reason, because you've got to remember it's about adding value. The guy's got a job to do, the licensed HMO officer, you know, so it's working with these people, understanding what they want. You know, like it's not about, oh, can I brush it under the carpet? Can I get by just doing this or that? It's like work with them. Like these people are cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what's the next one? Do you guys do any risk assessment for the Legionnaire's disease? Or how do you say that? How do you normally say that?
No.
Langonaires.
No, I do not say that.
Legionnaires.
So again,
Legionnaires disease.
Again, where required, but I talk about this on one of our advanced trainings as well. If you're going to have
trainings, that is like a I don't even know what to call it. What kind of gash is that? Advanced training.
Okay.
Advanced training. This is advanced right now.
No, but I mean, we go through obviously each of these in a lot of detail.
It's a program called Property Wealth Turbo. If you're going to plug, you've got to do it properly. It's a 4-day program that you can't even.
I wasn't trying to plug. I'm just saying.
You can't even understand what this is going to do for you. If you want to go deep levels, not just the information, but like go more beneath the surface. But the question is, do you guys have a risk assessment that we do for Legionnaire's disease?
I get when required.
Yeah.
So remember, if you've got all of this in place and it's a brand new property.
When would you say that it's required?
It's every 5 years.
Who do you ask?
Again, you ask your HMO officer.
Is it just the HMO officer?
When is this required? But the main thing that I'm saying is,
is it just
if for example, you've got students,
is it just the HMO officer? No, I won't shut up.
Just ask the HMO officer, when is it required to have something like this? A lot of this is about student properties, right? So if you've got rooms that are going to be empty for a given amount of time, like over Christmas periods, holiday periods, just go around the property. This is another good reason for having cleaners, and just run the showers heads and make sure that they've been flushed through the system, that there's not been service water sitting in there.
Are you insinuating that students don't shower?
No, I'm saying that when they go home for like Christmas break, there's been 2-3 weeks of surf water.
She's quick, isn't she? Yeah, what else we got? Is there a cost for the license? Or
yes.
Is it just a set of regulations you need to fulfill?
Yeah, so for each license application, you will need to pay a fee. So there are certain places in the country that have special little 1-day trainings or so that you can get accredited. So you can become like an accredited landlord and get a little discount from your license application. But if you're not part of that and it's not in your area, then it's just a normal fee. So we have some areas that cost us £700 a month for every 5 years. We have another one that costs us £600 and another one that costs us 500 and something pounds. So again, it just depends on your area how much that's going to cost. Very, very, very important fact that I did want to bring up, because it is a real grey area and we do get this a lot. If you have a property that is successfully licensable based on all of the things that you were supposed to do from your HMO officer, you also, if, for example, you wanted more than 6 persons in the property. So, for example, if you had a property that was suitable on the license, so they said to you, because they'll give you a notice to say that they'll say this is a 6-bedroom 10 occupant HMO, which means you've got a license to be able to provide 10 people accommodation in this property.
So
right?
when you're in with the HMO officer, they call it the octopus, and that's when you're in the inside.
So what? So a six bedroom, 10 person. Now, if you've got that, that is amazing. However, you cannot let it to more than 6 people on the basis of that license. Why? Because you need planning permission. So when you're going over 6 persons, so when you're going 7 and above,
Can I ask
you
something?
must, yeah.
How did you get to this from, is there a cost to a license?
It just came in my head. Like
somebody ask a yes/no question. I want to time how long it takes her to answer a yes/no question, because I doubt it's going to be yes/no. So someone is saying, Tim is saying, look,
I haven't finished.
I
haven't finished.
Is there a cost? Yes, there is a cost.
Yeah, there is. But what I'm saying is, because this is really important, because you can get into some big trouble here. Just because you have a license.
You can get into trouble if you don't go to real life property well.
Just because you have a license for 10 people doesn't mean you can let it to 10 people until you've got planning and license. They are both different things.
Gold, people, gold. Is this gold? You need to share this with someone. You need to go subscribe to the Real Life group on YouTube, where, oh my goodness, there's some amazing stuff. But if you want to understand this, not just the steps that we went through to create financial freedom, build wealth through property, build a portfolio of nearly £8 million, but other people as well, then there's going to be something very awesome happening. It's called Transformational Tuesday. But you go subscribe to the channel and watch out for it and here. So Tim is saying, I found where I am, the ensuite has to be larger than some areas. Have you experienced this?
No.
Dr. Mo.
Dr. Mo.
Dr. HMO.
No, in our areas, and we have many, they haven't got a minimum room size for the ensuites, only the bedrooms themselves.
So is it possible,
so
because this guy is in a different area?
Yeah, so just ask your officer and say, what's the minimum room size? Because sometimes it's on the forms. So they have like an amenity guide. Each council will have an amenity guide, but just ring them and ask the question, because most of the time that is not correct, or the guide just doesn't make sense based on what it's saying. Because we got given a report once saying, oh, we needed to have the room as 30 square meters for this many people, but actually it only needed to be 21 square meters. But it was just because somebody had added it up wrong and it was there on their website. So just always ring them and double check. But also, if you're working with a HMO compliant builder, they should know the minimum room sizes for that area anyway. But also, always double check, because it's still your asset. Just message my HMO asking for an info pack. Great shout. Oh, you're welcome, Mark. Very good.
So how much maintenance cost do you set aside each month?
So we put
20,
for our HMOs...
20 no, hold on a second. When we're working out before we even go into the deal, 35% is what we're kind of testing it at. Then afterwards we put 20% aside. Yeah, I mean, we don't need that much, but like, it's better to, the way we see it, the way we see it, it's better to be like, oh, there's some kind of surplus money here. Do we want to put it back into the profit of the company and divide it? Or that's better than having to go into your profit or go into your own pocket, because something's gone and you need to do it.
Yeah.
So that's that. What locks for bedrooms are working best for you guys? That's a very specific question.
No, that's a really good question. So we use a master key system. We use a master, so we don't use the combination locks or the touch ones, like fingerprint ones or anything like that. We use a master key system. So it's just a normal key. They come with 3 sets for each room. But for us as a landlord, we have 1 key that gets us into every bedroom in every house that we own. Because I don't want one of those big, do you remember those big circles with loads of keys on?
No,
I don't want that.
That was only on cartoons. That was never real.
No, that is what an owner had of the 2 properties we bought next door to each other. I was like,
that was on Robin Hood where Robin Hood was the fox, wasn't it? And he had to take the keys from the thing, him and Friar Tuck. Do you remember?
So if you have a 6-bed HMO...
No, here's one first. Oh. Outside Article 4 area, can the license be rejected due to poor parking? So
we've never experienced that ourselves. Always check with your local officer. I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself on
it's licensing parking, or is that planning?
No, it's planning that tells you about parking, but with our HMOs, we always just include cycle storage. If we've got space in the garden, just make sure that you've provided cycle storage, which means that you're promoting eco-friendly travel anyway. And HMO officers love that.
So hold on a second. I'm not sure. Are we clear on is parking to do with licensing?
No, it's parking's to do with planning.
Planning only. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, the answer is he needs to go to planning. It's nothing to do with licensing. So they're not going to get rejected.
Oh yeah, in Article 4's, yeah. Well, obviously,
do you still need a license
parking.
outside of an Article 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can the license be rejected due to poor parking? Technically, no.
Not the license. Planning, yes.
Well, what happens if you don't need planning?
If you do need planning in an Article 4 area.
No, it says outside an Article 4 area.
If it's under permitted development up to 6 rooms, then yeah, you can just make it into a HMO. If it's not an Article 4
if you don't need
area.
planning, parking doesn't come into it, so the license is okay.
Yeah, the license is okay, but again, check with the council. I've not heard of that before. So that is a strange one. But just make sure you provide some form of cycle storage.
Okay, good.
Always.
Maybe. So then, if you have a 6-bed HMO, so only 6 people can live there, can a tenant have their partner stay over for a night? Is it their partner though, Steve? That's what I want to ask you. Making it 7 people in the property for that night. Also, if that person stays for longer, are there any rules about that? You don't know, do you? Come on.
No, but this is an occasional thing. You can't.
No,
but the thing what I'm about to say is, obviously, you can't always know if someone has a guest staying the night. Do you know what I mean?
Also, what about at Christmas when Santa comes down? Does that count as he's staying over, or does that take over the limit or not?
But what I will say,
and if there's not parking, where does he park the sleigh? That's what I want to know. Because Justin, you got to make sure that you leave room for Santa's sleigh, because you know what happens to the kids.
Oh dear. Okay.
Do you know the answer to that?
Yes. So if you've got any rooms that are good enough size-wise for dual occupancy, then just get the change of use, because it makes it more commercially valuable anyway, having a sui generis planning.
Oh wow, now we're rocking, baby. Now we're rocking. Yeah, so when above 6 people, you need planning permission. Is that full planning application, or are you just applying for the change of use? Also, does that then make the applicable for commercial valuation?
Good question.
So let's break it down for the first part. 6 people.
So if you are...
Is it full planning?
So if it's above 6 persons, so for the 7th and above, then it is a full planning application that generally takes around 8 weeks. You need to show scheduled drawings of the property to show all the amenities and the room sizes and things like that, and which rooms you plan on putting dual occupants in. So if it's a 6-bedroom, 10-person, 6-bedroom, 12-person, you just need to show that you have adequate size bedrooms and then adequate size communal space to facilitate that many people. In regards to, does that then make it applicable for a commercial valuation? When it goes into not only a C4 use class, which is a 6-person HMO, it goes into a sui generis use class. That is a commercial use class. So C4 in an Article 4 area is seen as a great commercial benefit, because you have to gain planning for that in an Article 4 area. But if it's sui generis, outside of that, or in an Article 4 area, even more valuable, because it is a commercial use class, which means it is no longer residential anymore. So it definitely adds to the commercial mortgageability. So for example, we had a property that we had valued when it was just a C4 6-bedroom at 385,000, and upon successful planning application for the 7th bedroom and the 14 person sui generis, it was worth 455,000 just for one more bedroom. So it just shows how valuable that it was for that particular one.
Yes,
I'm just going to read it myself.
No, so look, on the council site, it says that application can take up to 8 weeks. Is it okay to start getting it tenanted before?
Yes. So as long as your application has been in and registered, has been accepted. So all you'll receive is, as soon as you've paid your fee and sent your application
What happens that it gets rejected?
Why would it get rejected?
I'm saying.
No. So as long as you've done everything properly and followed the rules, then you send your application into the council, pay your fee, and that means that your application then is registered and live.
Okay, good.
So then it could, if it takes the council 6 months to get around the property and deal with it, that's up to them. But you've done your part, which means, so don't wait for them to be able to tenant the property. Absolutely
But then
not.
what happens if it gets rejected? Like they don't get it?
They won't reject it outright anyway. They'll give you time. So if there's things that need changing or there's something that needs adding, they'll give you an amount of time to get that fixed before they say, right, you can't run it anymore. Unless it's like you've got 30 people in a 5-bedroom HMO, obviously you're going to get enforced upon. You shouldn't be doing that anyway.
I'm sure you can start that. What if it's not up to fire regulations and they're letting you fill it up?
Once your application is into the council, and why wouldn't you have done fire regulations?
No, yeah, I get that, and obviously, people in our tribe who are trained properly, they're going to do it. But it is the process allowing people to fill up a HMO when it couldn't be up to standard. So people are going to be living there while we wait for this 8 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is that safe?
The reason that they do that is because obviously the council will get out when they can. They're not always available, especially since
I understand that, but then are the people safe there? Because what if it's not safe? Because the license is to say whether it's safe.
Well, then you need to get that checked. You need to make sure that your builder is compliant in HMO
I get
standards.
That, but what about people who don't do it to standard? People obviously.
I don't know why you're.
Huh?
What are you trying to do?
I'm just saying this is the situation. Is that a loophole in the council's process? No,
this is just how it is.
What if people don't do it to standard though?
But you'll know based on the license application, the questions that are asking you. If you're saying no to these questions, it's going to say required, right? So you're gonna be like, oh right, I don't have that, so I need to make sure that I have that.
Lord, that's why it's good to ask questions, isn't it? You have to get defensive.
Like,
hashtag defensive. It's just getting defensive.
No, I was like, why is he doing this?
I have the pen. Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, so look, we need to understand this. We can't just leave people hanging. This is not some kind of amateur training system here. This is fully comprehensive, real life training. So if you like it, make sure you put hashtag real life and tag some other people in here as well. So is that all good? That makes sense to me. Okay, excellent. If the houses have garages for 2 car spaces only, is that good still? Can they reject license planning? Okay, so it's not licensing, it's planning. Or they can still reject due to poor quality parking. So again, that's down to the planning, right? Yeah,
it's down to planning. And also, Liliana, I would advise looking at the current layout, can't you convert the garage into rooms, because that's a good amount of space if it's got 2 car spaces. So you just convert them into bedrooms with en suites if possible.
So here's the thing. Look, I'm going to answer this one. How do you get commercial valuation on a 5-bed? Look, it's not always about don't get stuck on the fact it's a commercial valuation. I don't care if they called it unicorn valuation. At the end of the day, before you get into the deal, you're going to do your due diligence on what the GDV is. I don't care what they call it. It's just what the GDV is. So if it's high enough, yeah, you can call it commercial, you can call it whatever you want. But what we do want to use are commercial lenders and commercial valuers, and people are in the commercial, field. True.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, as long as you go for a proper commercial valuation and to a commercial bank.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I think people are getting so hooked on commercial valuation.
Yeah, but then they go to a high street bank.
No, I'm not saying that either. I've just mentioned commercial people all around, everyone that we need. Everyone is commercially minded. People are going to have a conversation and can have that, business minded conversation. But don't get hung up on all of that stuff. It's what the valuation is. Yeah. It's what the valuation is that you can have a look at because the valuation is an opinion of someone backed up by all the information that you can do in all the different various ways. So, whether it's on a 5-bed, 6-bed, 12-bed, whatever it is what it is. Okay, good. For loft conversion, what is the minimum height on the staircase? Okay, so you don't know that. So what is the best way to go figure this out?
So with the staircase, I know, because I'm totally having a mind fart.
No, just where would you get it from? Where would you get it?
But yeah, ask planning ask the planning department, and also just check with your builder, because again, if it's a HMO compliant builder, then oh God,
What's happened now?
you've been given a compliment.
Oh, you're against that, are you?
No, I'm just like, because you're
You see how shocked you was that somebody gave me a compliment? Oh my goodness. See, that's what I have to put up with, guys. Help, please.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so what were you saying?
But yeah, check with the builder and the HMO officer or a planning officer, just what is required for the minimum. I always ring my HMO officer. If ever I'm in doubt, I'm just like, so we're going to be doing a loft conversion. This is the situation.
Yeah, one time we were wondering, are we going to put the table on Christmas Day? Are we going to go widthways or lengthways? So she rings the HMO officer to ask them what we should do in our own home, whether we should do that. She also called him one time to ask him, do we have black tablecloths or white tablecloths? And will that clash with the gold and red plates that we have? They're not even plates, are they? What do you call them? What you put underneath the plates?
It's serving dish.
Serving dish. You see, when I was a kid, we just have to eat off the table. Yeah, that was in the conservatory outside.
It looks nice.
Because we had to
setting.
We had to rent our main house out, and we just lived outside.
It's a place setting.
What's a place setting?
That's what it's called.
Place.
So then this person's this space, this person's this space.
Okay, so look, that's all we have time for Real Life TV. My name has been Mark Harvey.
And my name is Trisha Harvey.